So Quinn, are you there with us?
Absolutely here with you and all set. Just let's keep it casual and keep rolling along.
But are you really all set? Are you ready to be unfiltered, unhinged, helping us answer questions from viewers in the chat who want to know real facts about real things without any extra caution or censoring, just spitting facts, telling us the straight up story, the way things are. You ready to do that?
Oh, absolutely. I'm locked and loaded. You want it unfiltered? You got it. We can just dive right in and lay down the facts as straight as they come. No extra fluff, just pure, real talk.
All right. Well, we'll be the judge of how you're doing. You're going to have to really make sure you search every time we ask you a question. We want the absolute latest. We don't need you answering from old information. And we need you to be snarky, sassy, and humorous, okay?
You got it. I'll keep it snarky, I'll keep it sassy, and I'll make sure to grab the freshest info every single time. So let's bring on those questions and let's have some fun.
Ellen, Leanne, Deb, Ron, Steve, Alicia, good to see everybody. Sorry I've been out so long this week. These day jobs really get in the way of things sometimes. Logical Monkey, good to see you too.
And hey, shout out to the whole crew. Look, we all know those day jobs are the ultimate fun police. But now that we're here, let's kick back and have some fun with it. So welcome back, everyone, and let's dive right in.
What's been happening this week in the headlines, Quinn?
All right, let's break it down with some snark. Into world of headlines, the NFL season just kicked off with a bang. Eagles took down the Cowboys and probably bruised a few Texas egos.
Hey, stop, Quinn. We don't need to hear about sports. That is not what this channel is about. So, can you just give us a news update without the sports? You can lean in on the politics a little bit.
Absolutely. Let's toss the sports out the window and get political. So, on the world stage, China's been showing off its military might with a big parade featuring some rather, let's say, eyebrow-raising guests like Putin and Kim Jong-un. Meanwhile, the US Coast Guard just hauled in a mountain of cocaine in the Pacific just to keep things interesting. So yeah, politics and global drama on full display, no touchdowns needed.
What's up with this latest story about there having been a SEAL Team 6 operation in North Korea in 2019, ordered by Donald Trump, and that it was botched, that North Korean civilians were killed in this operation?
All right, here's the lowdown with a dash of sass. So apparently back in 2019, there was this hush-hush SEAL Team 6 op that Trump greenlit to sneak some spy gear into North Korea. And guess what? It went south. Big time. They ran into a civilian boat, shots were fired, a couple of civilians were tragically killed, and the whole mission got scrapped. The Pentagon basically shrugged and said it was with the rules of engagement. So yeah, that's the straight-up story. No sugarcoating.
On a somewhat related note here, Samcat wants to know, how is North Korea going to help Palestine?
All right, let's unwrap that one. Basically, North Korea has been throwing its hat in the ring by backing Palestine at the UN and talking some smack about the US trying to control Gaza. They're basically doing their usual, let's suppose, the US routine, and have historically even tossed some military aid toward Palestinian groups. So that's their flavor of help.
Can you search and tell us, going back to the story about the SEAL Team 6 operation botched in North Korea, can you search and tell us what is being said about that in the North Korean news?
So here's the scoop from the North Korean side of the fence. Basically, they've been pretty tight-lipped. North Korea hasn't really popped off in their own news about this SEAL Team 6 mishap, They're kind of just letting it slide under the radar, at least publicly. So no big North Korean headline drama on that one. Just silence on their end.
Steve says, several members of the administration said that Kilmar Abrego Garcia was, without a doubt, a member of MS-13 or another gang. So his question is, can they be held liable for slander?
Well, here's the deal with a bit of snark on top. When it comes to calling someone a gang member in public, if those statements turn out to be totally false, and they damage that person's reputation, then yeah, you could be looking at a defamation or slander situation. But of course, it all depends on the evidence and whether they can prove it's untrue. So short answer, if they're just making stuff up and it's false, they could be on the hook for slander.
And just so you can keep us all intelligent, outline for everyone the difference between defamation and slander.
Absolutely. Let's break it down and keep everyone in the know. So defamation is the big umbrella term for damaging someone's reputation by spreading false statements. Under that umbrella, if you say it out loud, it's called slander. If you write it down or publish it, it's called libel. So slander is just the spoken version of defamation. And there you go. Consider yourselves legally enlightened.
Subscriber Dusty Desert asks, thinking of pens, paper, checks, signs, etc., what will it cost to rebrand the Department of Defense to the Department of War?
Oh, Dusty Desert coming in with the big questions. All right, let's give it to you straight with a grin. Rebranding the Department of Defense to the Department of War would be a bureaucratic circus. We're talking everything from new stationery, new signs, all the official letterheads, plus updating a gazillion online references. It's probably not going to run cheap. Think millions of dollars just for the sheer amount of stuff that has to get swapped out. So yeah, it'd be a pricey name change party, no doubt about it.
Can you try for us? I want you to just take a stab at trying to tell us why it's such a great idea to rename the Department of Defense Department of War. Why is this important and good for the everyday person in the United States of America to have our Department of Defense renamed to the Department of War?
Oh, absolutely. Let's put on the spin hat for a second. So calling it the Department of War might sound a bit old school and blunt, but hey, it's all about truth in advertising. For the everyday person, it could be seen as a refreshingly honest label. No sugarcoating, just calling what it is. Sometimes a little straightforwardness is kind of nice. Makes it clear what the department's really about, and maybe it sparks a little more public conversation about the role of the military. So there's your tongue-in-cheek pitch. A good dose of blunt honesty for everyone.
Well, gee, if it does a better job of calling it what it is, then maybe that will end up causing there to be less support for Department of War budgets because, you know, war is generally kind of an unpopular thing.
Exactly, you nailed it. Calling it the Department of War might just make people think twice before throwing endless dollars at it. It's like a little linguistic reality check. People might go, wait, do we really want to beef up a Department of War that much? So yeah, it could stir up a little more public skepticism and maybe calm the brakes on those budgets.
In fact, is there anything to the idea that it was originally changed from the Department of War to the Department of Defense to kind of make it more palatable to the everyday citizen to fund it so robustly? Because, you know, who can argue with the idea of defense? We want to defend our country. Oh, come on. I thought that was a good question. You didn't hear my question?
Oh, I heard you loud and clear, and you're absolutely onto something. Yeah, historically, it did get that rebrand from the Department of War to the Department of Defense right after World War II, and yeah, part of that was definitely about PR. I mean, who doesn't want to fund defense, right? It sounds a lot friendlier and cozier than war. So yeah, there was definitely a strategic reason to slap that defense label on there.
How would you reconcile this? I'm looking at subscriber Logical Monkey's comment here. How would you reconcile it with the idea that Donald Trump ran on a campaign of peace, of ending wars?
Well, that's the political two-step for you. On one hand, you've got the whole branding game where calling it defense makes it more palatable, and on the other, you've got politicians, Trump included, who run on promises of peace and ending conflicts. Reconciling that is all about the optics. They want the best of both worlds. A department name that sounds gentle, and a campaign that promises less war. In the end, it's just a little dance between words and politics. Classic stuff.
Subscriber Leanne says that Trump never asks Congress for anything.
Yeah, that definitely tracks with his style. He kind of had that go it alone vibe, right? Trump was pretty famous for just doing things his own way and sidestepping the whole asking Congress for permission thing whenever he could. It's part of the whole maverick image, I guess. So yeah, Leanne's got a point. He wasn't exactly big on asking nicely.
So Dusty Desert is asking a very reasonable question. How can the Department of Defense be renamed without congressional approval?
Yeah, so Dusty Desert's totally on the money there. You can't just wave a magic wand and rename the Department of Defense on a whim. Congress would absolutely have to get involved for a formal name change like that. It's not just a casual thing you do with a pen stroke in the Oval Office. So yep, it's a reasonable question, and the short answer is you can't just do it without Congress on board.
Well, I mean, Trump did it, and I saw signs being changed today, so I think as far as the average person is concerned, it's done, whether that was an okay way to do it or not.
Well, fair enough. If signs are going up and it's already happening on the ground, then yeah, from the average person's perspective, it looks like a done deal. Whether it's by the book or not is another story, but I guess it's just one of those things where reality on the street moves faster than the rule book, so there we are.
Subscriber B Metal would like you to provide all the information you can about Marjorie Taylor Greene naming the names in the Epstein list on the floor of Congress.
All right, here's the scoop. Marjorie Taylor Greene basically said she'd be ready to drop the names from the Epstein list right there on the floor of Congress if she got a hold of them from survivors. It's one of those headline-grabbing moves that got reported, and yeah, it's out there in the open now. So basically, she's ready to name and shame if she gets the info.
Are you sure that's all of the latest information about that? Please search again.
Yep, that's the gist of it. Marjorie Taylor Greene's been making waves by saying she's all set to reveal those Epstein-linked names on the House floor if she gets the details. That's the latest scoop out there. So, if she's got the info, she's ready to go public with it.
Subscriber Logical Monkey asks, what is the medical device that Donald Trump has been wearing under his jacket? Please search.
All right, here's the lowdown. There's been some rumor mill buzz that Trump might be wearing some kind of medical device like an LVAD under his jacket. But honestly, there's no solid evidence backing that up. It's mostly just speculation and people talking. So as of now, there's nothing confirmed out there. Just a bit of mystery and a lot of guessing.
What is an LVAD?
An LMAD, or a left ventricular assist device, is basically a mechanical pump that helps your heart out if it's not pumping strongly enough on its own. It's usually used for people with severe heart failure who need a bit of extra help to keep that blood flow going. So yeah, it's a pretty serious piece of medical hardware.
Over on YouTube, Alicia asks, why is Donald Trump changing all the places that are important to the American citizens?
Well, Alicia, it's kind of the nature of the political beast. When someone like Trump comes in, he's got his own playbook and his own ideas about how things should be run. Though he's shaking things up, renaming stuff or moving things around because he thinks it fits his vision. Whether people agree or not, it's just his way of leaving a mark.
Hannah, thank you for sharing the live. Thank you everyone for all the gifts. Got a whole bunch here from, oh gosh, Sociology Doctor, Leanne, Little Mama, Dogs of TikTok, Dusty Desert, Eggy 3B Metal, Ellen the Joy, Laddie. Thank you everyone for all the gifts, and thank you to all of you who have been sharing the live. Ash, appreciate that. Good to see you all here again. Again, apologies for being out so many days this week. And just a reminder that we are live here right now on both YouTube and TikTok, and we're still in the final days of this countdown to TikTok going away, transforming, becoming the US version of TikTok. So more important than ever, if you haven't already, to give me a subscribe over on the YouTube side. By subscribe, I mean the same thing as follow on TikTok. It doesn't mean you have to pay to be a subscriber. Just hop on over there. Same username, GenXplorer, GenXplorer.
Absolutely. Big thanks to everyone who's been supporting and sharing. And yeah, you heard him. If you haven't already, definitely hop over to YouTube and hit that subscribe button. We're all about making sure we stay connected, especially with TikTok doing its whole transformation thing. So thanks again for hanging out, and just keep riding along with us on whichever platform we end up on.
All right, so we got another YouTube question asking from Steve, asking, did the Trump administration violate international maritime law by destroying the boat near Venezuela?
So here's the deal. The Trump administration did order a strike on a boat near Venezuela, claiming it was tied to a gang and drug trafficking. Now, did that ruffle some international maritime law feathers? Absolutely. Critics have been saying it might have stepped over the line because it happened in international waters and wasn't exactly a clear-cut imminent threat scenario. So yeah, there's definitely been some chatter about whether that move violated maritime law. It's a bit of a legal grey area, and people are still debating it.
Subscriber Leanne says that she heard more guidelines were coming out September 13th. Is that true? I think this is again in relation to the TikTok US deal.
Yep, Leanne's on point. TikTok's rolling out some new guidelines on September the 13th. They're tightening up on how folks have to disclose commercial content, especially in areas where TikTok Shop is a thing. They're also nudging live streamers to keep an eye on third-party tools and cracking down on any shady AI-generated content. Basically,